what is up, everybody? Lionel Hippie Trucking and Transportation. I'm a little bored right now. See if anybody else is just sitting back chilling. See if anybody comes in here before I get into anything. All right, let's see. Let me plug in right quick just in case. JJR, what's going on? Myth Leather Company, what's up? Afro, what's good? You killing it with them shades on? Man, it's bright as hell out here, but it's cold. So I'm still shut down. I'm coming up. I don't even know how many days I've been shut down. It looked kind of good enough to get out here driving, but I talked to like 2 people that came off the road and they actually acted like they were traumatized. So I was like, you know, why am I even going to worry about this? I'm trying to play the long game out here. I'm not out here worried about what this week's settlement looks like. I'm looking so far down the road. A little bit of money loss ain't changing my life. So I'm not really trying to mess around. Tim Travels, what's up, man? I'm still out here in White House, Tennessee, man. I've been amusing myself with the dumbest shit yesterday and today. The power went out, so I've been watching all these people. It just came back up, and I've been watching people do that walk of shame. You know what I'm saying? Walk all the way up there, pull on the door handle, and then have to walk all the way back. And I've been watching people tell people that the place is closed, and then them still walk up to the building and having to walk all the way back. So I've just been amusing myself with the dumbest shit lately. Let's see. Yo, what's up, Lyle? Currently at Publix in DC, or Publix DC in Greenboro, North Carolina. Getting unloaded, man. It's almost like if I don't get out of here tomorrow, there might not be no relief to be had. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm not really going to be worried about or stressing out about it. Like I said, I've seen some people come, seen some people go, but I have talked to a guy, speaking of Tim Travels, a well driver, and he was the first person that acted like he was traumatized. He said he got in last night, and he was parking in the fuel island because no fuel pumps were working. And then he ended up parking close to me, and he came up and asked me if I knew what the weather or what the roads look like out there. I said, I don't know, man. I've been just chilling. And he told me his little story, driving 7 miles an hour from like Indianapolis down here. So that was the first one. And then this other driver parked right next to me, and I actually did ask him what was up, and he's like, don't do it, man. Don't do it. I was slipping and sliding all down 24 and everything. It's not worth it. I was like, okay, you only had to tell me once. So anyway, let's see. I don't know how to pronounce his name. They got you shut down. No, I got me shut down. Prime sent out the normal message. If you do have to drive, be safe. You know, drive for the speeds and all this stuff. We've had 2 jackknifes, and I was like, you know what? The juice ain't worth the squeeze. What's a couple $1,000s gonna mean to me in the, in the long run? Nothing. I don't have any immediate need to make any immediate money or anything like that. So I'm just chilling. Prime hasn't, okay, Trucker Q, Prime hasn't given me a pre-plan yet, and if I don't get anything soon, I'm headed home. I'm only 80 miles away. Where's your home at, Trucker Q? Tim Travels, those are the same people that watch you push the elevator button but don't believe you did it right, so they push it for themselves. Yeah, it's been hilarious watching people do that walk of shame. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm so far away from where most of these people are that I'm not going to get out there screaming, yo! So I just been watching it happen. WWE, what's up? Slime Pack, what's going on? Slime Pack's out there being an American hero out there delivering that freight. I just talked to somebody up in Maryland, and he said, man, it's not too good up there either. So he's just picking up a load right now, headed down to McDonough. All right. Fayetteville, North Carolina. I don't know what the weather's like down there, but if I was 80 miles from home here, I don't know. A Prime driver did just pull in here a little while back, and a smart guy had his tandems all the way to the rear. So I don't think he could be loaded. I don't know. Trucker Q is in Slime Pack City. All right, now they're arguing over whose city it is. Last night I went through Tennessee 24. It's bad. Hey, that's all you had to say. Thanks for the update. I mean, I've gone through about 1/8 of a tank of fuel. I start up my truck I set my alarm for every 4 hours to just start up the truck, because it seems like if the truck gets sitting too long and the oil temp gets too low, it starts running all super rough and everything. So I just set my alarm every 4 hours, start it up for a little bit, bring the temperature back up, then shut it back down. All right, JJR, Prime is starting to 3 loads a week instead of 6. They do it every year in the first quarter, trying to force folks to run out of California. I'm good, don't need the cash that bad. I'm not sure, my trainer, he's out in California right now, or I don't know if he's still out there, but he was out there last time we communicated, which was a couple days ago. Trucker Q, I seen you at my Best Buy. Okay, he's talking about Slime Pack. Yeah, so listen, my thing is this. If there's, obviously I'm getting bored, and I was worried I was gonna have to put myself in a position that I haven't ever had to put myself in a position of, is taking a shit in my truck, because this truck stop's been closed, and I was like, I got like 6 hours before I gotta make a decision. So luckily that truck stop opened back up. But in terms of driving and any questionable type shit, because you got to remember, Tennessee, first of all, if it was just about any other state, it wouldn't be the same thing. But Tennessee's not out here putting in that work like most places. And then they got them canyons that you're driving through, all these mountain canyons and shit that got, shade. And man, listen, everybody's always saying, what's your advice for this or advice for that? My advice is to stack up enough money to where you don't have to be forced to run in anything you don't want to be forced to run in. I can, other than needing the money, why would anybody run through this shit right now? To prove something to somebody? Man, I ain't trying to prove nothing to nobody. As a matter of fact, I might be the last truck left in this place just to make sure. And it's not no fear of anything. It's just I've seen it happen too many times at Prime, where if there was a little bit of back end, because there's not an excuse good enough for them. You know what I'm saying? So My main job is to get back to Kaylee Drive in Centennial, Colorado. It's not to deliver the next load or make the next money or none of that shit. So I don't know. I don't have that motivation to move me. Yes, Slime Pack does buy all them damn cameras. Tax write-off for sure. JJR got me. Okay, I got him cracking up. Donnie, you in Nashville right now, man? If you've been driving, tell me what it's like out here. If a state was in the Confederacy, you can be sure that they ain't got any winter road game. Hey, that's true. Not just the Confederacy. All these Bible thumpers and all this shit out here, they're the ones that are like, you know what? The roads will be ready when the Lord says the roads will be ready. They ain't going to be out here putting in too much work on these roads. Hey, I'm not about the prayer when it comes to that shit. All right. King, we'll just call him 3663. Once you pay the truck off, you relax. You don't have to work wintertime. My truck is paid off, so that is good. And to be honest with you, if it wasn't a prime thing, you have to run a load every so often, I probably would have taken off the entire winter. Like what? Like I said, I'm looking so far down the road as far as money goes that this little shit ain't really bothering me too much. I'm just waiting for him to put the pressure on. We do need to satisfy our customers and shit like that. You know what I mean? My fleet manager did reach out to me today. Let me see what that conversation was like. It wasn't anything crazy. So he sends me a message. Good morning. How's the weather and roads where you're at? And I said, bad. I'm 10 miles north of Goodlettsville, just to let him know where I'd like to get a load from when I'm ready. I just spoke with the well driver that was traumatized by his drive-in. We could play it by ear tomorrow. The juice just isn't worth the squeeze. All right, let's see. Tito's and soda. What's up, new hippie? Greetings from Indy. I talked to somebody from Indy. I don't think it was as bad as it is here, but I heard it wasn't all that great out there. All right, so Tim Travels talked to God, and he said he didn't give a fuck whether the roads are good. He doesn't use them. There you go. 3663. Last night, Nashville is bad. Truck stops closed, no fuel, no food, and the road was slippery. Exactly. Now, I did see somebody up here, a flatbed dude was definitely going to get his load where it needed to go. He chained up out here, so he was definitely on a mission. I'm not that motivated. Ed, what's up, fool? He's the one I was just talking about that's out there in Maryland picking up. Ed, they did open up the Love, so it's been like a parade of people up there right now. I'm gonna let all the suckers clear out before I walk in there, because I can just imagine the line in there. And then we got the old big girl out here. She's still walking around in her Crocs. She's walking around with Crocs and no socks and a summer dress. And I'm just like, what? I mean, seriously, this morning, Ed knows, because I was on the phone with him this morning and laughing about all these people walking back and forth, store being closed and all that, and people having truck problems and everything like that. And God damn, I forgot my point. Anyway, we were talking about all this earlier today. So Forgot my damn point. But he's the one that was saying that the roads are bad in Maryland, where he's picking up. Hey, those of you guys out there running, though, I'm gonna tell you this, and I haven't learned this from experience, but I did learn this from somebody that had this problem. If you are parking and it's wet where you're at, like the sun like melted all the ice or whatever, and you're parking and the roads are wet and it's supposed to get cold at night, man, start your truck and move it back and forth every couple hours or every few hours or something like that. Because I do know somebody that got frozen to the ground. Not it was too slick to get out, actually frozen to the ground. And you know, so I've remembered that. And I don't know how long this highway patrol guy or city police or whatever he is, how long he's been here, but I do think that they're doing welfare checks or something around here. I mean, it's crazy. All right, let's see. Tommy Morris, how's it going? Did a 50-hour reset in Savannah, Georgia. They keep trying to send me north through the storm, so I decided to do a 34 instead. Man, I've been sitting here so long. This is like a home time right here. I've been sitting here for, I guess it's not that bad. No, this can't be right. Let me see. This can't be right. Oh, no, it is. It is. I've been here for 36 hours, but if you remember, so you got to add 12 hours to that because I sat at a truck stop for 10 hours and then drove to this truck stop. So 36 plus 12. Oh, shoot. Let me tell you. I know Slime Pack's always going in there grabbing her coffee and stuff at Love's. Listen, I got hooked up on this shit right here. Nestle Espresso. It's like a instant coffee. I didn't know that so many people in other countries drink this drink instant coffee in general. This shit right here, this is the bomb. Like, I brought enough out so I don't run out this time. I think I got like 5 of them left, but this, man, I've been drinking this stuff, and I don't remember the other day. I went into Love's and I was like, man, let me just get some coffee so I'm not running through my own shit. So I went there and got that coffee. I could barely drink the coffee after drinking this stuff. So I'm definitely a fan of that stuff right there. Another thing, and I was talking to Ed about this, he's like, you should say something about that. I always talk about the 90% alcohol, right? So I buy the 90% alcohol, put it in a bottle. It's good for sanitation and all that stuff. So sanitize my hands, but it's good for spraying on your windshield wiper blades, get that off. Or when you're sitting here and you knock all the snow off or whatever, and you want to melt that shit on your steps, spray some of this stuff on your steps. That'll take care of it. Also, the thing that he said, man, I never thought about it. If your brakes freeze up, if you got drum brakes, you know, they say beat it with a hammer, all that stuff. Get you a spray bottle, spray that on your drums. That shit'll melt that ice down real good. And you could throw it in your airlines. Now, I know they're talking about putting some other shit in there like brake antifreeze and all that stuff because this stuff will dry out your hoses. Man, listen, I can only carry but so much shit with me on the truck. And that's multi-purpose. So I'm definitely going to be down. I'm definitely down with that. All right, 412, how bad is it? I know yesterday my city fucked up bad. I went out and played in the snow, but I'm about to be on my way to the truck now and head out. Man, let me tell you, yesterday was so bad that listen, there's always people that are going to be driving. So there are people coming and going to some degree. I do know somebody pulled in here on a quarter tank of fuel and the fuel pumps were down, so I don't know what's up with that. Because it was on the CB. Also on the CB, I heard that US Express shut down all their trucks in the area. So it's been like that. Like I said, it's sunny out here right now. But I just got off, I just got done talking to a couple people, and they had that 1,000-yard stare like they'd just gone through war and shit like that. And I was like, you know what? Why am I going to put myself through that? If money's not the motivation, then what would make me go out there and do this shit? I'm not no truck driver that's all, it's about the job, no. Or it's not like I need to worry about making a mortgage payment or anything like that. So there's just no reason for me to get out there and try to be a hero. I don't know if anybody saw the video. Somebody dropped the Prime trailer. I don't know what terminal it was at, but they dropped it. The only thing I can tell me if anybody else has seen this. I don't know if somebody wasn't hooked up to their trailer because it was by the inbound, outbound bay. I think it might have been Salt Lake City. I'm not sure though. But the trailer was laying down on its side. So I don't know if the truck trailer wasn't all the way hooked and then the truck was going to make a turn and the trailer fell, but it didn't fall flat down. It fell to the side and then it tipped over, but it was like flat on its side. All right, Slime Pack said she saw it. Hey, do you know what terminal that was at? It looked like it might be Salt Lake City. But it didn't look like Springfield because you don't really have those other empty trailers or whatever that are right there. I don't know. It was a little too grainy for me to tell, but that was crazy. 412 is headed to El Paso. Man, they are getting fucked in Dallas or in Texas right now. I don't know if that's over with or not. But listen, my motivation is to not have anybody. It can happen. I'm going to be the first one to say I can flip this truck or jackknife or do whatever as good as anybody. But I'm not trying to put myself in position for them to be clowning me and showing my video in the meeting and shit like they're, Red from Friday, reversing it and playing it back and all that. No, I'm not trying to give anybody that. All right, 412, hopefully going southwest from here. It gets better the further I get away. Probably. This just happens to be, I don't know if this was ground zero or what, but the problem with this area right now, the snow stopped, but they're not good with the road, cleaning the roads. And then you got the temperatures are just like below freezing. So if anything, I'm gonna let these guys get out here and run up and down the highway and dry up some of this stuff as much as they can before I worry about it. Super MC 5-knuckle shuffle. Yeah. Does Prime get rid of you guys for dropping trailers? I guess it all depends, right? Because there's a few different ways to drop a trailer. This person got creative with it. So, I've seen people drop trailers where it's landed on their truck where it did no damage to the trailer. I don't think that's gonna warrant it. I have seen where somebody's dropped a trailer and the landing gear's gone up through the bottom of the trailer. I don't know what happened there. But this guy or a girl, whoever it was, if you dropped the trailer and it landed on its side, I'm pretty sure you're out of there. I've never seen a trailer just laying on its side like that before, unless it was wind or something like that. All right, 412, I'm riding 70 from the crib all the way to 44 in Missouri and down. Boy, 44 in Missouri was not good either. Last I saw, but they're better at cleaning their stuff. Like here, like I said, they're not talking to these people that acted like they just went through war when they got off the road, it didn't seem like they were concentrating on getting the roads clear. So I don't know. 412, let me ask you this. How bad was the line for showers over there? I was in my head like I know damn well them underpaid employees coming to clean showers. Well, I got my shower, not yesterday, the day before yesterday, and it was fine. I think there was like 4 empty showers when I went to go take mine. The problem was when the power went out over here. The power went down yesterday from about 9:30 in the morning till they just opened back up today. I was beginning to have to make a bad decision either way, because I was like, I got about 6 more hours before I don't make the decision. The decision makes me, and I was gonna have to shit at some point. So I was praying that this opened up. So I'm almost pressing my luck, not running in there now when I know it's open. So I don't know if the showers would be what I'd be most concerned about. As a matter of fact, let's take a look and see what the shower situation is. Yeah, they got the power people out here. I saw them pull up about an hour ago. All right, it says there's 4 showers available out of 7. So it's a little too cold for people to really be wanting to take a shower. You know what I mean? But yeah, shit, this is crazy. I'm gonna let that there's a prime bobtail over here. I don't know where he bobtailed from, but this was definitely not good bobtail weather. He's sitting over there. Then I got 2 more prime trucks over here in front of me. So, 2. I'm gonna let them pick up any shit before I worry about it. I'll let them to be the heroes before I worry about it. I don't know if NAF is open or not, but that was one of the best things about being here. But yeah, I don't need too many people to tell me how bad the weather is or how bad the roads are. And some of these trucks that were rolling in last night, it was just like they'd have like behind the catwalk, just like a mound of snow on the back of the catwalk, and all the snow around the wheels and shit. Like the wheels was the only thing, like the friction of the wheels was the only thing that was keeping the snow. Like it was, man, just snow everywhere on these trucks. I don't know if the fuel pumps are up here yet or not. Because people just been parked in the fuel island since like yesterday. Now it looks like there's a little movement, but I don't know if it's people just leaving now or what the situation is. Oh, you know what? Let me see. I could tell. Let's see if there's any active pumps going on. Man, I can't tell. Never mind. Bro, did you buy some glasses the same color as your truck? Man, I had actually these glasses. My wife found them on the ground somewhere. This is probably 5 years. Actually, it's more like when I first got into trucking. I just normally don't wear glasses. I don't really like driving with glasses. So the only reason I'm really wearing them is because I'm sitting still. If I'm driving, unless it's super bright, I don't wear sunglasses. But JJR, this weather is why I'm keeping my truck in Southern Cal till April. That's a good move. I mean, there was a CRST truck that was parked like 3 trucks down from me. He was trying to get out earlier, and it was almost like his brakes were stuck, but I don't think it was his brakes. I think he had too much moisture in his airlines or in his compressor or something, because it would want to move back, and it wasn't like it just didn't seem like the brakes were the reason why. And it took him forever to get out. And then I was like, man, why would you even think about driving if this is what's been happening with your truck? Man, could you imagine your brakes grabbing when you're out there on some ice or something? There's no way. And then there's another truck about 3 down from me the other way, and their truck's been running, and it hasn't been running. So I don't know if they're like, okay, I got to conserve some fuel or what. But their air system was purging like every 3 or 4 seconds. I know them air tanks are frozen up. So maybe not now. It's getting warmer. All right, 412, some OG swag fit matching the whip type shit. Yeah, no, I didn't think that far ahead. Leah, what's up? Just still sitting out here. They opened up the truck stop about an hour ago, so I'm letting everybody get in and do what they got to do and everything before I walk in there. Because I would rather sit on a cold toilet. I don't want to be in there, looking at the guy leaving the toilet I'm about to go sit on. I just feel violated. All right, Leah, you talking about Charleston to Memphis, or what's Charles? Well, I heard Memphis has it bad. I don't know if they got anything better out there or not. I mean, I was almost feeling like, you know what, let me get out there and test it today. So I was asking these couple people. Actually, there's a guy that was talking to like everybody. So I tried to get the intel from him. He was the guy that was with Will, and he's the one that was traumatized from his drive in here. So I asked him, and he was like saying, man, I'm just going to call my dispatcher and tell him I ain't going anywhere anytime soon. Meanwhile, when he pulled in, I looked at his reefer, and he's at 33 degrees and half a tank. So he might be forced to at least move out of that spot. Might have some fuel for him to get up here sooner or later. But then this guy that just parked next to me, man, if I didn't like force the conversation to end, he was going to continue telling me how bad the roads were out there. I'm just like, you know what? I don't need that. I don't need that shit. I mean, I would prefer to make some money than not, but that's not enough to motivate me into a bad situation. Lenny, hello from sunny and cold Iowa. Yeah, I'm not sure I'd really want to be messing with that either. I was just thinking about that, or actually, I was talking to Ed about this earlier, and man, I'm not sure if it's worse to just be sitting and not making no money or freezing my ass off. Lenny, did you see that video of that trailer that was laying on its side at the terminal? And what terminal was that at? I think I asked that question earlier. Slime Pack said she saw the video. Does anybody know what terminal that was at? It looked like Salt Lake City, but I'm not sure. You got to go out of your way to put a trailer on its side. Charleston to Memphis, not all the way to Memphis. Okay. Terry is giving greetings and salutations to Lenny. Lenny's headed to the border, far Texas. Man, I'm not sure what's going to happen down there. See, that's what I think Prime should do. Like those of you guys just came in, I was sitting here yesterday on the CB. I heard somebody, they were talking, about the weather and this and that and that. And US Express shut down everybody in this area. I don't know how big that area was, but now I'm hearing Creed has a mandatory shutdown. That's what 25 James H. Mack, I think, that's what he's saying. Shut down everywhere from the storm, or shutting down everywhere the storm went through. So that takes a lot of pressure off you right there. When you don't have to make a bad decision on your own, or you don't feel pressure to get out there and do it, I know Schneider's done that where I was at before. I remember being on 72 or 74, one of those two highways in Illinois a few years ago, and everybody's like, should I drive, because you don't know, right? Because you can't really see the highway. And somebody was there from Schneider and said, yeah, they shut us down. They had a mandatory shutdown. I was like, that's all I need to hear. Uh, 9519. Where am I? I am in White House, Tennessee. So I'm on 65, about 25 miles north of Nashville. So sun is out beaming, everything like that. There's people out here driving and stuff, but some of the stories these guys that have pulled in are telling me just doesn't seem worth going out there doing it. And like I said, the guy from Well, he actually seemed like he was traumatized by it. And this other guy just kept telling me, don't do it. Because I was asking him what the weather was like, and he was like telling me. And he must have said, don't do it, like 2 times where I didn't even provoke that, statement from him. So he was serious about that shit. And then had I not just kind of shut down the conversation a little bit, we'd still be talking about it possibly. Yeah, there's a bunch of trucks out here they had a guy, because Love's was shut down earlier. Their shop was closed down, all that. So there was actually a Flying J guy out here doing some work on a truck earlier today. Now there's a Love's truck dealing with somebody in the parking lot. So it's putting to work on these trucks. I've been turning on my truck like every 4 hours or so, just running it a little bit, getting the temperature back up, or the oil temperature back up, then shutting it down. All right, let's see. 25 James, I will say, when you own the truck, it makes you want to definitely make the right call on weather. Absolutely. Yeah, because I'm not getting no free truck rental or whatever that is, loaner truck or nothing like that. I'm having to pay for a loaner truck if something happens to this truck. And even without the truck being paid off, even with the payment, my decision would be the same. It just makes it a little bit less painful. All right, Romaine the trucker. I'm in Tennessee on 40. I want to roll now towards Nashville. I'm going to Texas. Yeah, well, let me know how that works out. But whenever you stop, tell me how the highways are. There is no motivation for me to be out there running that shit. I know Memphis was a mess yesterday. I don't know if they got that cleared up or not. Yeah, when I got that message earlier this morning asking what the roads were like and all this kind of shit, I just sent back kind of a little generic response, but I was gonna say my only job is to get back to Kaylee Drive in Centennial, Colorado, but I didn't want him to think I was like looking for some home time. My point was gonna be my job is to get back home in general, not be out here looking all stupid with people playing my video in the sales or in the safety meeting, critiquing my shit. All right, Slime Pack talking to Romaine. Hellwig ain't giving you no interesting stories to talk about. Romaine will make up a story if there's not one there, just so you know. Woo! Slime Pack, I'm telling you, I know you like the coffee and all that stuff. Man, this shit right here, you better get you some. That is the deal right there. Espresso too. So you got that nice dark rich flavor, and then it's got, man, I'm telling you, I know it costs money. I don't know how much this thing costs. I don't remember. I can't even drink the truck stop shit after this. All right. Romaine is replying back to Slime Pack. I'm experienced now, so it's hard to make stories because most situations are avoidable. Come on, Romaine. We know that you don't actually have to tell a story that you actually went through. Just joking. All right. Man, I wish these people would stop walking into this damn truck stop. There's only so many people here, and there's been a line going in the truck stop. And I don't want to be the one, like I said, I am not trying to shake the hand of the guy that just left the damn toilet I'm about to go into. I want a nice cold toilet. As a matter of fact, fuck a toilet. I'm booking a shower now that I know the showers are open. Yeah, what was I thinking? Yeah, I might have to gather some intel tomorrow morning. See what it's like then. Even then, I'm not leaving until the sun comes up and get some radiation on these roads. Because when you get the highway patrol out there warning you to stay off the roads, what's going to happen if you get in an accident? Even if it's not no real accident, let's say you go off the road or something, what's Prime going to say? It was avoidable. You should have shut down. How much is that coffee? You know, let me see. I'm just going to see what it is on Amazon since that's where I got it from. Man, that shit is so good. I didn't like, I never would have thought about instant coffee. And then I was telling somebody about it. And man, now I'm finding out that damn near United States is one of the only places that actually like brews up their own shit like that. So I guess Southern America, all that stuff, they're really into the instant stuff. All right, Nescafe Gold Espresso. All right, this is more than I paid. Let me see. It's like $9. It's around $9, and I think that one of those got me through, like, I think I actually make mine extra, like, darker, so I put more shit in than most, but I think one of those lasts me about 2 weeks, and I go a little bit heavy on it. The main thing about it is so smooth, but then it doesn't have, like, what I get a lot from them truck stop, bean the cup type thing. A lot of times I get a little bit too much acid in that. Pirate Monkey, what's up? See, it's deceptive right now. I might have to double check. Like, it looks like there ain't shit going on. Matter of fact, let me take a look and see something. It looks deceptively good out there. Romaine, if you're talking about 40, that looks a little. $40 looks like it's the worst of the freeways between Memphis and Nashville. Uh, 65 looks like it's probably 65 from Nashville to Louisville probably looks like it's better than. Let me take a look at this other one. 65 south looks like it might be all right. $75. Yeah, I guess it just depends on what direction you're going and how much faith you actually put in them apps. A lot of trucks pulling in and out of this truck stop in Crossville, Tennessee. Yeah, I'm like I said, I don't mind being the last truck out of this place. Because what's the motivation? That's the thing. What is the motivation? Like, obviously, money is the motivation, right? Or else just wanting to do a good job. But if I'm looking years down the line, even if it's $5,000, if it costs me 5,000, which it won't cost me 5,000, but if it did cost me 5,000 over the course of years and years and years is really insignificant. Now, if I had to worry about a mortgage payment or a car payment or a truck payment or any, I'm not even gonna say a truck payment because my decision would be the same even if I had a truck payment because it's never been that tight. Well, for the most part. There's just not enough motivation for me to really go through anything that's going to be a headache, to be honest with you. So tomorrow morning, I'll probably talk to some people that just got off the road, see what's up. Or maybe that I see pulling in tonight or later today or something like that. All right. 3663 is asking anybody for updates between Atlanta and South Carolina on I-20. Anybody got that information? I mean, it looks pretty good out there. Let me take a look at something real quick. So right now, it looks good, right? I can't tell the highway. I could barely see between these trees and see what speed people are going by. So, that all looks okay. But tomorrow is going to be warmer. So tomorrow, if there's going to be a day, tomorrow is going to be the day that I'd look at bouncing out of here. And even then, I'm not driving at night. I'm not driving through these canyons and shit with, oh shit, somebody's trying to hit somebody. Yeah. This guy over here. This guy over here. He's about to make a big ass mistake. He has, that shit better not get on his windshield. Okay, so this is a box truck driver. He's got a hot cup of water and he's pouring it on his wiper blades. He should have watched the No Hippie Trucking and Transportation video. This alcohol right here is going to even do it better. Squirt some of that alcohol on there and that shit's going to disappear. He's over there in jeopardy of cracking his damn windshield. Anyway, I don't. All right, somebody said that I-20 was good, so go ahead and roll it. I'm headed to Alabama, going through Memphis, shut down last night. Early, icy. Oklahoma, my 90 is north of Nashville. I'm north of Nashville. As a matter of fact, I'm probably as far north of Nashville you can get before you get into Kentucky. I think it's like maybe 15 miles to get into Kentucky where I'm at. Slime Pack says she was on 20 yesterday. It was clear. I ran 26 west to 385 to 85 south around 2 a.m. Roads were good. I don't know what old boy was thinking pouring that hot water on us. Doesn't look like his windshield cracked or anything. I know a couple of them trucks that are in the fuel island are actually fucking waiting for some fuel. Because now there's spots, but them guys been sitting there forever. I know somebody pulled in yesterday with a quarter tank of fuel from what I heard on the CB yesterday. All right. Google Maps live traffic gives you a good idea of what roads are like. Yes, I was just kind of looking at. But a lot of times that's going to be based on what car speeds are doing as well. So it could give a little bit of a false idea. All right. Hello, Unc. Are lot lizards still around? I have really never seen a lot lizard, to be honest with you. Don't be scared, man. Listen, it has nothing to do with being scared or not scared. It's just this, because it's what do I get out of running? I make an extra $3, $4, $5,000, some shit like that. It has nothing to do with that. Anybody that's watched this channel saw me ripping and running through North Carolina, or not North Carolina, North Dakota, all that shit, in the snow and all that stuff. So it has nothing to do with that. It does have to do with me being scared of them guys putting me in a video on the Friday safety meeting, rewinding and fast forwarding the shit, clowning me. And you get no grace whatsoever. There ain't no excuse good enough. All right. It's a graveyard out here on 65. Where on 65 are you at? Now, in a perfect world, if I was to get out here and get in a solo accident and totally total out my truck and get the insurance money and all that kind of stuff, you know what? That's just not going to happen. That'd be a good amount of money right there, All right. Romaine the trucker think I'll take I-20 to Shreveport, Louisiana. Well, they were getting fucked out there the other day, and shut it down there because Nashville to Memphis is looking bad. That's what I heard. The guy one of the guys I talked to, he did come 40 out here. The guy that was traumatized, he was on 65. So, son of Atlas, where on 65 are you talking about? Take a ride. When I'm saying traumatized, I'm serious. He was like traumatized, and he probably asked about, because he pulled in last night and he just didn't have a spot. So he, later on this morning, he found a place to park, and he was asking everybody about what the weather was like or what the roads were like. So I'm just sitting here watching him talk to all these people. So I figured, what? He has enough intel right now, so let me ask him what's up. So he was walking by my truck, and I, asked him, and, he was saying, and they're saying it's bad out there. And I just came down 65 from Indianapolis. I was driving like 8 miles an hour the whole way. And I'm just going to call my dispatcher and tell him that I'm just going to do a 34. Now, meanwhile, when he did pull in, I've had a habit of looking at people's reefer trailers to see if they're on, off, whatever. And he was running 33 degrees and he had a half a tank. So, look, I don't know. I'm glad I don't have to worry about that. And then, this other guy, he just came in and he's like, don't do it. Don't do it. Because I was actually thinking about rolling out. West Lafayette, Indiana on 65 is what he is saying about it being a graveyard. Listen, all I got to see is a few trucks in the ditch. I am no better than listen, I could end up right there too. And no matter what you go in there and tell these people, they're going to blame that shit on you. There's not an excuse good enough. All right, take a ride. I think it doesn't hurt to give it an extra day to let things clear up depending on where you are and what I'm doing. Well, I'm just out here chilling north of Nashville. I'm in no hurry. I'm not under no load or anything like that. I really don't have any pressure. I mean, the only pressure that somebody could put on me would be Prime trying to talk about servicing customers or something like that. But internally, I don't have any pressure. So, all right, Jarrell, I got to pass through West Virginia mountains on I-77 South. Not looking forward to it. I saw you moving this morning, Craig. All right, I went home before the storm. You got it. Now, see, hindsight's a motherfucker, right? So when I delivered my load on Friday, I was like, or was it Thursday? The storm came in later than it was supposed to come in. So I'm not saying I would have waited around to get a load and, have a drop and hook and the load not being ready or, whatever happens. Had I known, I might have deadheaded out of this before it had a chance to get me. This storm came in probably about 8 hours later than it should have came in. So had I known that, I'd have just boom. I'd have dropped my load, told them where I was going, and just got out of it. But this is like the worst. This is like literally one of the worst places you could be. All right, so Craig said, just saw the news on I-65 near Nashville. A semi took out one of the overhead signs and it's blocking the whole highway. As my man says, that's some good info right there. All right, midlife trucker, I'm in Clinton, Oklahoma, headed to Joplin, Missouri for Monday. Get it done. I took a 34 at Sky City Casino, missed all the fun and the weather. Man, let me tell you, Tom, I've been sitting here for a while, I just been chilling. Watched a classic movie. I just got done. Well, not just got done, but I watched, those of you guys that are in my age bracket, I watched American Graffiti, classic movie, 1973. Got all kinds of people in that movie. Harrison Ford, Suzanne Summers was in that. What's the guy from Jaws that shit? They had a bunch of people in that movie. I mean, the cast was ridiculous. Okay, I had to pull it up. Ron Howard, Harrison Ford, Richard Dreyfuss, Cindy Williams. I'm just naming off the people might know. Mackenzie Phillips, Wolfman Jack, Suzanne Summer. Suzanne Richard from 8 is Enough. And the person that did that movie, what was his? George Lucas. He was the one that Yeah, Richard Dreyfuss. Man, that movie was so good. What happened to them good ass movies from back in the days like that? I was about to watch The Warriors. All right, midlife trucker got 3,700 miles last week, ran his butt off. That's a good week right there. I'm probably going to end up with maybe about 1,000, 12, 1,300. Hard to kind of really guess or tell because I did a bunch of money on a little miles. Not a bunch of money in total, but a bunch of money per load for not a lot of miles. So it's hard for me to kind of guess on that. But then I did fill up when I didn't need to fill up just to make sure I'm good to go. All right, that's a good one. How about Hollywood Nights? You know what? Let me take a look at that one. Uh, all right, it's Halloween night, 1965. Drag Race. All right, so let's see the cast: Michelle Pfeiffer, Tony Danza, Robert Wool, Fran Drescher. Okay. I might have to check that one out if I can find it somewhere for free. I don't know. I never knew that movie. All right, midlife trucker. Wait, hold on. I missed some. 3752 already pushed though to appointment. If I need that 90, gonna be 1100, not 0100. Wednesday safety first. Absolutely. Midlife trucker made 3338 last week. That's dang good for a company driver. Yeah, that's good for anybody right there. Hollywood Nights was a fantastic movie. I need to check that one out now. I'm gonna go back and watch American Graffiti. That's a good one. Another movie that I think you can find it for free on YouTube is I mean that's where I watch most of my shit is unless I'm home is Losing It. Remember Tom Cruise? Uh, Tom Cruise was in that movie. Uh, fuck. Anyway, all these guys in high school went down to Tijuana so they could get laid and shit. And anyway, it's a hilarious movie. I'm sure somebody's watched that movie. Losing It. One of the funniest movies from my childhood there. Midlife trucker lives in Clinton, Oklahoma, doesn't own a plow. Man, they've been getting on this place with these plows. I mean, at one point they had 3 plows up here. They had one little truck plow, and then they had like 2 like big ones out here. I'm just doing a 30-minute break, but They haven't thought about clearing the snow. These guys are on it here, I'm telling you. Take a ride is good to see, Lyle. Well, I appreciate it, man. Just out here chilling. Craig, gonna see if he, all right, probably get loaded first thing in the morning. That's what I was thinking. Well, I'm gonna let them know in the morning. I'm not just gonna have nobody throwing no pre-plan on me. I'm gonna take a look at what's up. I'm gonna take a look at what's up in the morning. Then I'll tell them I'm ready. All right, 1372. Been thinking of coming on as a hopper bottom at Prime. I don't know anything about that. I think if you live in the right place, it's a good one to have. Boy, this guy better roll back and forth before he's got snow all packed up in his trailer tire. All right, user, if you want to make $800 to $1,200 a week lease, then go hopper. That's not a great endorsement. But you know what? If you're at home all the time, I'd take a decent pay cut to, just be running a little bit more, just to be running a little bit more by the house. The problem is, I don't want to do that shit in Colorado. If I lived anywhere else, it would change my whole perspective on where I'd want to drive and shit like that. Yeah, oh boy, they just parked over here. I mean, I'm sure it's almost everybody's trailer tires, but this guy in particular, if he doesn't roll back and forth and get some of that stuff off his brakes, he will be dragging that shit in the morning, most likely. It's just caked all up in there. All right, user. All right, I did it when I first started and the money was terrible. And I know some tanker guys left it to try and they came back to tanker. If you live near the main areas, you can go home a lot. 3752, 5 months, been averaging 12K a month, shooting for 12K a month this year. Shoot, now that it might be getting a little bit warm, I might need to run out there and check my coolant. Throw some in there or see if it needs any. Craig, got to ride those brakes a little bit before parking, heat them up and melt everything. Yeah, I think I gave that tip a while back, man. When you're pulling into a truck stop, get on those brakes a little bit. But that's a lot of fucking snow that was packed in that. I mean, I was seeing trucks come in yesterday and they were just like destroyed. Like you'd look at the catwalk and the catwalk would have like 2.5 feet of snow back there. There was snow kicked up all on the wheels. So like the only thing keeping the wheels or keeping the ice from going down below the wheels was the friction of the tires going over it. Man, listen, I'm too old for that shit. I'll bet you have lots of anti-gel. Man, I'm down to like 3 bottles, man. Yeah, I'm gonna keep my eye on these three prime drivers out here. I want to be the last one out of here. All right, midlife trucker Tom Bell. I've only used one single bottle this year. Last year I used 0. All right, take a ride. I don't use anti-gel until -5 or cooler. I learned a lesson a couple years ago, man. I do not play with that shit anymore. You know, I kind of was like the same thing, right? Uh, I actually did use anti-gel, but possibly not enough, and it got colder than -5. But since after that happened, I was like, yeah, fuck that. I am not playing around with this anti-gel. Plus, I had so much of it. Now I don't necessarily have as much of it, but man, that is a horrible feeling. Take a ride yet? -20. You want to take a double dose? I I I might have put in like I think I might have put in I might have had about 1.5 times. So I think I put one bottle. I think I used a bottle and a half. I think I've used a bottle and a half that time that I went through my shit on 2 tanks. And I had a little bit in there from the fuel before. So I was thinking I was good. And like I said, it wasn't the fuel that got frozen, it was that line that. So it was only pulling fuel out of 1 tank, is what ended up happening. So I was showing full, or not full, but I was showing I had some fuel, but it wasn't pulling out of that tank. D Trucking, listen, I thought you said you were trying to stay home in the winter. Can you take off more than 30 days as an owner op? No, you can't. And my thing, my thing, and I've said this way back from like years ago. I'm not trying to really make a bunch of money in the winter. I'm just trying to survive the winter. So if I could come out here and make a little bit of money during winter, that's fine. I'll just run it up during the summer or whatever. But yeah, if I'd have known it was gonna be like this bullshit. I mean, I just came off of home time. Like, I think I'd been out 2 weeks before this bullshit. Had I known this, I'd have just ran and went back home and sat back down. Maybe, I don't know, but sometimes you just don't think it can't be that bad. Like I said, this isn't really that bad. I've been chilling, watching, watching videos, whatever. it was halfway decent at this Love's until the power went out, you know. And then yesterday, up until about an hour and a half, 2 hours ago, the power was shut down, so that made it miserable. All right. Yeah, take a ride. That's what I do too. As far as the anti-gel, I just don't know what, like I said, it was extremely cold when that happened. I think I was looking at minus 28 degrees. Craig, part of me regrets not going home, being that I'm only 2.5 hours, but my wife sent some pictures of the house in my driveway, and I would have been stuck for 2 days or more. Craig lives in that Gainesville, Georgia area. I watched that video you mentioned the other day from that really experienced trucker, yeah. Should I say never happy driver? Absolutely. I still don't think they have fuel up here. I haven't seen any tankers, but I don't know if the pumps are working or not. Tom Bell, if we ever get enough snow in Shady Dale, Georgia, to get my truck stuck in my driveway, I'm not going to work. Yeah, this looks like a beautiful day out here. I could just see me getting tricked out there. All right, well, shoot. It's about time for me to run in here and drop these kids off the pool before the power goes out again, because I do not want to be forced to make a bad decision. So I'm going to get off here now that it seems like there's less people walking in there right now. So, all right, let's see. 25 James. Tomorrow is going to be 35 in Nashville. That's what I was thinking. Let some more people get out there, run this down a little bit, get out there when it's got a little bit more heat on this. But my question is this: it depends where the load is going as to how jacked up the highways are out of here. And everybody that doesn't drive trucks is always giving truck drivers advice about what to do and when to shut down and all this kind of shit. You just can't always shut down when you want to shut down. You know what I'm saying? So I could go pick up a load and be like, oh, shoot, the weather's not all that good. Let me stop at this place and park. And then there not be anywhere to park there. So that's a lot of it. And plus, hey, well, hold on. Midlife trucker, we got about 1 inch of snow one day this year, but people are still talking about snowpocalypse. Man, I remember when Atlanta got that big ass snowstorm when they had that Super Bowl down there. That was a bad day also. All right, anyway, let me get off here, run inside and take care of business, because I am not. There's always a spot. You know what? There is always a spot usually, but not as many when there's a bunch of people trying to get off the road. But I definitely agree with that statement. I'll drive through truck stops at night after I'm done fueling, even when I'm planning on driving further, just to see if there's spots in there, just to make me more confident when I'm driving to a truck stop and I see it says it's full, and then I drive through there and there's 3 or 4 spots in there, something like that. But yeah, I can still remember my trainer saying that, "Lyle, there's always a spot." All right, D Trucking, why do people send money to Com Data Card? Any benefit to using that? No, I think that is a horrible decision. As a matter of fact, speaking of horrible decisions, I'm about to pull my money out of the... man, I saw that guy drop that trailer at Prime, and I know he's about to get it stuck in him on that one. I'm like, man, I'm not sure I want to have that much money tied up that they have a little bit of access to, so I'm probably going to move some of that shit out. But yeah, Com Data Card. I send $25 a week to my Com Data Card. And that's just... I forget about it, and then I'm like, oh, shoot, yeah, I got like, $200 on my Com Data Card. Then I'll use that a little bit. And so I do send a little money over there. All right, Craig, there's always spots when you don't need one, but when you need one, there's never a spot. I've never had to park I've never made my own spot. I almost made my spot one time in Louisiana at a Road Ranger. It was either in Louisiana or Texas somewhere. But usually there is always a spot. And then I don't usually when I got about 100 miles to go is when I'll begin at least kind of looking, depending on where I'm at. And then I'll like pick something, in that area. So I don't need... the first place I'm going to doesn't necessarily have to have some spots. But I've been lucky. And I don't typically like to park in rest areas. I don't know if my man Rusty's in here, but he just parked at a rest area. And you know how people don't know how to park at rest areas? He parked way too far up, and he couldn't get out until the guy next to him backed up a little bit. So I hate that. And I hate that so much. I don't even like service plazas. I'll do it faster than I will a rest area. But if you see me at a rest area, there's a reason. Either that's the only place, like I'm up in Maine or something, I'm just waiting for something real quick. But if you see me overnight at a rest area, you know what they say, knock on the door. There might be something wrong with me, because I will never just pick a rest area. I can't stand a rest area. All right, now I'm about to get off here, because the last thing I need is for them to shut down that truck stop and have me looking around all stupid. So I appreciate you guys stopping by No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. As always, I'm out.